This is Forge Daily on the Forge Audio Network.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Forge Daily for this Wednesday, August the 2nd, 2023. I know what you're thinking. Mackenzie Barwell, wow, she sounds really rough today. She might have a cold. Her voice is a lot deeper than normal. No, it's me, Brayden Neville. Mackenzie Barwell is away today. On today's episode, we will be celebrating the career of Ashtone Morgan, who announced his retirement earlier this week from professional football. On today's episode, we will hear from Ashtone himself, his lifelong friend and teammate Kyle Bekker, and Forge FC coach Bobby Smyrniotis. Now, Ashtone Morgan has had an excellent career. His father born in Jamaica and his mother born right here in Hamilton, Ontario. Ashtone started playing the sport at a very young age and went on to win 4 Canadian championships before moving to the MLS, where he won the MLS Supporter Shield with Toronto FC in 2017. And his list of achievements goes on and on. We can start with this: 2011 Canadian U20 Player of the Year, 2012 Canadian Championship, 2013 CONCACAF Gold Cup, 2015 CONCACAF Gold Cup, 2016 Canadian Championship, 2017 Canadian Championship, 2017, we talked about it, the Supporter Shield, and the MLS Cup in 2017. And of course, who could forget in 2022 when he won the CPL Championship right here in Hamilton with Forge FC. So Ashton's journey has brought him all over playing the sport he loves, a Canadian kid who grew up dreaming of being a professional soccer player. And what did he do? He did that. A great role model for kids. And he played 2,469 minutes across all competitions. So an excellent career, an excellent run. And he was just such a big factor in that 2022 championship for Forge FC. He sat down with me and Corey Nuska to discuss his incredible career.
Yeah, I think it's, I guess there's no real right way or wrong way to do it. I feel it's been time for me to, stop playing. I continue playing, but, stop playing professionally.
When people look back at your career, what do you want them to remember about you?
Oh, man. Honestly, I don't know. I've just been professional. Again, I've been a professional footballer for 13 seasons now, and I know people will always know that, I left it all on the pitch. I gave it my all every day, solid teammate, especially coming to Hamilton, I brought a winning mentality and I try to help out in any way and every way possible,
Not many players get to represent their countries, and what was it like being from Canada and getting to represent your country and show young Canadian players what's possible?
Yeah, awesome. It was one of the biggest accomplishments, I could have, just to wear the Canadian jersey. My family, being immigrants and being from all over different parts of the world, being able to represent Canada was a special thing for sure.
And your time with Forge FC,
yeah.
You win a championship in 2022, and just talk a little bit about what it was like getting to play here in Hamilton and in the city of Hamilton.
Awesome. I have roots in Hamilton. My mom's family, a lot of them live here now. So to be here and to play in front of them weekly was amazing. So, because they couldn't always make it to other games or wherever else I played. So to be here and to represent myself and my family in Hamilton was a wicked feeling.
When you look back at your career, there's probably a ton of moments that you can think of. But if you had to choose one or maybe a couple, when you look back, what would be your favorite?
I'll start off with lifting the trophy here, with Forge for sure. That was my last trophy that I lifted. And basically, I've lifted a lot of trophies over my years, and I don't know. There's been a lot of moments, whether it's lifting a trophy or not. I think I've had a lot. I kind of have to go back and sit down and kind of go through them all myself and with my family, my friends, and stuff like that. But definitely my last one here for sure.
What are your plans now after soccer, after football?
Long vacation. Yeah, it's gonna be weird for sure, but I'll still be keeping an eye on the guys and everybody here has my phone number. They have my, they contact me in order to find me, So, yeah, I'll be around, but definitely taking a lot of time for myself and for my family and my friends for sure.
And now this Forge FC fan base, just what's to be said about them and their support for you throughout?
No, they've been spectacular. They've been awesome. They've been our extra man on the days that, whether it's so windy, it's rainy, or super hot. They've been here for us from my first day, and I know they'll be here for, to the last day of forever. So I think honestly they've been superb and they've been really good for us.
You came in here in 2022. You won the championship. You got a feel for what Forge is and what the Forge mentality is, as you sort of mentioned. What does Forge mean to you?
Honestly, to me, resilience, relentlessness. I feel we bend, we don't break. I feel we never gave up. Whether we're down a goal, up a goal, you knew we were always in every game we've played in. So I just feel that kind of essence, that hard-nosed, hard-knock mentality, which I've had already before coming here. So finally coming here, it really just brought that out even more. And it was really infectious within the group, for myself and from the fans and from Hamilton and being part of this club, So yeah, I think that's what definitely embodies, playing here and being from here.
And what sort of advice, there's a lot of young guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a younger player?
Yeah.
Say, the youth level teams.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
For me, I was actually talking to some guys earlier. Never get too high, never get too low. We just are in the middle, and that also keeps you grounded, doesn't keep you complacent, keeps you eager for more, and I think for the young guys especially, just being professional every day is actually really hard. You just can't show up and just flip the switch and all of a sudden I'm a professional footballer. It takes a lot of time and graft and to hone your job. I think being professional every day, for me, I pride myself on that. I did pride myself on being that for 13 seasons, and I think, I've had a long career just being professional every day. So definitely, it takes work, but to figure out things that work for you, what don't work for you, but just try everything.
That was Ashtone Morgan, such a positive role model for young Canadian kids playing the game of soccer that want to one day represent their country, wear the red and white. Ashtone did that, and he's the kind of guy you need to look up to, kids out there listening, if you're looking to make this a career as a Canadian kid. And one guy he grew up playing with, well, that's Forge FC captain Kyle Bekker. Bekker sat down to share his thoughts on this lifelong friend announcing his retirement.
We've been through it together. He's someone I've known for a very long time. Been lucky enough to be a teammate from when we were young. I think we were 11, 12 years old. We played together, and then even more so at the professional level. I started my career in Toronto FC, and he was there. He's a guy I knew. He was a friendly face. Someone who's always willing to help out. He's an unbelievable teammate. True professional. The way he takes care of himself, the way he shows up every single day, puts the work in, whether it's a good day or a bad day. It's unbelievable. I think he's a great role model for a lot of young guys who are starting their career.
Yeah, and for young Canadian players like yourself and like Ashtone, just how important is it to have a guy like that, a leader like that, to look up to for a young player looking to make their name in soccer? It's huge. The stuff he does in the room it's hard to kind of put it in words. I think there's countless guys in this room who he's had such a positive impact on, and we'll be the first ones to say that he's helped out a lot in the short time together here wearing a Forge jersey. It's really just how he conducts himself, how he shows up every single day. I think when we all start out, we have a dream of playing football, and you have this perfect idea of what it looks like, and you kind of make that jump into the professional world, and it's not always like that. And he's someone who's rolled with the punches. He's kind of gone through all the ups and downs that a career throws your way, and he's had all the success and failures that come with it, and he's come out the other side. And I think to be in the game as long as he has, to play the games that he's played and had the impact he's had on young Canadians, it's fantastic and just a testament to who he is. Now, I'm sure you have a lot of memories, but is there one memory you can think of playing with him, whether it be playing with him in soccer or just off the field? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you put me on the spot here. I mean, we have a ton of memories together. I mean, we've been roommates for a very long time, playing with TFC, the national team, then here back at Forge to end his career, which is fantastic. So I think it's just every day. Just we've always had our lockers pretty close to each other in any of the locker rooms that we've shared, and just the jokes that go on daily are going to be missed for sure.
And now moving forward, do you have a message for him now that he's announced his retirement?
I just want to wish him all the best, and congratulations on an incredible career. He has so much to be proud of, and he's made himself and his family proud. Just a kid from Toronto who had a dream, and he made it come true.
He had sort of mentioned, I asked him what Forge meant to him or what Forge is to him, and he talked about relentlessness and just like the willing not to break or bend or anything like that. Is that sort of a mentality or a message that, you said you played a long time with him? Was that sort of something that you guys sort of were ingrained to at the very, grassroots?
Honestly, I think that's just sort of how he shows up every single day. I think he kind of embodies that message. Over the course of his career, I mean, when he started out, he was very young. He had immediate success. And then just like anyone else, it kind of comes down and tapers off, and you find yourself not necessarily playing as much as you wanted. And to show up and grind and earn your spot and earn that next contract and continue to be professional and come in with a smile on your face, be that positive guy in the locker room when, you might be frustrated, is so much harder than it seems. Yeah, we play soccer every single day, and it's a privilege, but there's times when this can be very draining and it can be tough. And for him to do what he does, it's so impressive. So I think he kind of embodies that message of bend, don't break, and show up every single day and be relentless and kind of control what you can control. Because in this world, there's very few things that are actually in your control, and you find that out very quickly. And as a young professional, I think that's one of the best pieces of advice you could kind of fully embrace right away. And that's something I think he passes on to a lot of kids.
Something I've heard a lot over the past week or so is that, Ashtone Morgan's considered a pioneer in Canadian soccer. But he's also a humble guy. He doesn't like to hear these type of things. What does that sort of speak on his character?
I think that's just who he is. The type of person he is. I think it's part of his upbringing, the good family that he comes from. It's just all about rolling his sleeves up and putting in a shift and working for the guy next to him. That's sort of just how we kind of came up. I mean, if you look at it, when he kind of broke into this game, there weren't as many doors open as there are now. There's 3 professional doors to choose from. Being a Toronto kid, he kind of made it happen here, which was fantastic. But if it wasn't happening here, it would have been very difficult. And then even after, with the rules of international players and the MLS at the time, and just kind of fighting for that next contract, making sure he still had a job, making sure he still had a place to play so he could keep honing his craft. And I think he's just of that generation, especially. I mean, we have another one in David Edgar, who we were lucky enough to retire here at Forge FC, and that's just another example of those guys who show up, they want it, they're going to work, put everything they have into it to make it happen. And I think they both just embody that message, and it's just another example of kind of going after what you want and making it happen.
That's awesome. That's very special to hear. And there must have been a moment last game on Friday night. He's getting subbed in. Obviously, the whole squad had already known he's hanging up his boots. But you hand him the armband, the captain's armband. What sort of moment for him do you think he was feeling in that moment?
I'm sure there was a lot of emotions going through his head. I mean, his whole family was here. He had some close friends that he's known his entire life who were in the stands too. So when you're stepping on for a moment like that, I'm sure there's just a ton of things running through your body. But just to share that moment, to give him the armband, to have that together, it's great just to be here, just be a part of that special day for him. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and he obviously took the 3 strikes after the W there. That was an emotional moment to witness. I was shooting front ways and I could see it on his face. I didn't know anything, and I could, after seeing that, I was like, something's up here, something's up. So I think it was a really little special send-off that you guys have you got to experience.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're all lucky that we got to share this short time together back at Forge. As I said, he's had such an impact. I mean, he played a huge role in us winning that championship last year. As all of the things we've talked about, his mentality, his professionalism, everything that he brings in day out, he kind of helped us get over that hump that we had in the middle of the season. And he's just a reassuring face, a reassuring presence in the locker room, which is unreal. And for him to just have that moment, that little the 3 strikes on the anvil at the end of the game, it's just I mean, it's a small gesture, but the man deserves all of it.
That was Kyle Bekker, and those are two guys who have an incredible history with one another, and it was such a nice gesture by the Forge FC captain to place that armband, that captain's armband, on Ashtone following the game, and for his team to embrace him the way they did in that final matchup, and of course, in that final game, they get him a victory as he leaves his soccer career. The man who will be forever known as Ashtone's final coach spoke about the retirement of the Canadian star defender, and Bobby Smyrniotis, he came on the show, and he talked about his time with the defender.
Yeah, with us, he came in here at the start of 2022 as we're getting set to embark on something that was big for our club and playing in Champions League and trying to make a run at a third title. And we're looking for some experience, somebody we knew and somebody who was local. And he fits that bill. He had a lot of experience, obviously playing in Champions League as well, being from the area, and I thought he'd be a great person in the locker room with some of our younger players. Fast forward to today, and he's achieved all of that for us and more as a player. And most importantly, it's who he is. It's his personality and his character. A football player, we see their qualities on the pitch, but I think if you want success, it's what you do off the pitch. And he's an absolute professional. He's an absolute, great role model for a lot of our players in the dressing room. And I think, if he looks back at his short time here at Forge, that's his biggest accomplishment. He walks out of here being a champion in 2022 and also playing an important role in the growth of some of the players on this team.
What was that first memory like of you meeting him, or the first time you got to see him play or experience him on the field?
Yeah, as a coach here, we obviously knew his qualities as a player, and we knew what we were going to expect from him, being a little bit different from a previous left back that we had here in Kwame Awua, but just his energy and his love of the game. That's the one thing that I knew about him. We're talking about a guy who's gone 12, 13 years as a professional player in different places, but we knew he brought a great energy about the game and a great love of being on the training pitch. And I think that's something that sometimes players miss, and he had that, and that was infectious. And we knew that about him, and then we saw it in the first weeks of training, and we knew we had a good one.
Just how much of a part of this team and how important was he in winning that championship?
Yeah, I think each component of this team plays an important role, and Ashtone's one of those guys, and especially when you're looking at big matches, he's a competitor. When the moment is there, he was a guy that you can count on. He was a guy that can count on not only on the ball, but especially off the ball, and just his work rate and his mentality to win. And I think that was a great characteristic he brought to the team, especially for us coming off of an excellent 2021 season, but not having any trophies. I think he gave us an extra spark in the locker room. And this was a guy who is in his early 30s, who's played a lot and played in different places, and he came here with the same hunger to win. And once you have that as a player, you have the hunger of maybe it's the last few years of your career, but you still have the hunger to go after a championship. And with the experience that you have, I think it's always a match made in heaven.
And now, what message, if you have a message to share with him for after his career and just going forward now after soccer?
Yeah, like I told him, he's been a fantastic ambassador of the game here in Canada through what he's done in his professional club career, to being part of the national program for many years. And his success on the field, I think, will translate greatly off the field, in whatever next steps he takes, whether that be in the game or outside of the game. When you take an approach to the way he did every day of being here and being his best, and his best, sometimes being your best is not always being the best on the pitch, but being the best version of yourself every day. So sometimes on your worst day, you're still giving your best effort. I think he takes those qualities as he moves forward. He'll have a lot of success off the field as well.
He played such a large role, knowing how much 13 years of experience. How much of a role did he play in helping develop some of the younger players within the squad?
Yeah, I think his role with the younger players, it's a couple of things. One, he led by example, and just how he worked on the field, how he went about his daily routine, how he trained. But then off the field, his interaction was probably some of the best with some of our younger players. guys like Seba Costello, Kadeem Kane, and just really being close to them. And it's sometimes it wasn't so much of giving them advice on the game, but just being around them, having a laugh, making sure they're comfortable in moments, but then making sure in other moments that they're taking their job as seriously as possible and making sure they're giving everything on the pitch. And I think those subtle moments off the pitch is what made him a very special teammate to some of our younger players.
I want to thank Coach Bobby Smyrniotis, Kyle Bekker, and of course Ashtone Morgan for joining this very, very special show commemorating such an incredible career. A young Canadian kid who had a dream to play professional soccer, has a storybook career, and a guy who's given so much to the game, and we are wishing Ashtone Morgan all the success in his future endeavors. That's all the time for me today. I want to thank you for listening to Forge Daily.
This has been Forge Daily. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.